Evening, council members. Thank you for this time. Congratulations, Councilman Zara, on your reelection, and Dr. Charles on your election. I wanted to use this time for public comment to reference the Planning Commission meeting that we had recently on the Pines housing development. The community feels very devastated with that 5-0 vote, and there's a lot of ambiguity still regarding state laws involving housing that are very new and that will go into effect in July. Commissioner Gambino expressed kind of being, left powerless, that the local control is being taken away. He stated that housing laws are being pushed down from the state up to 60 dwelling units per acre, coming down from individuals that represent us in Sacramento. Chairman Cox suggested that study sessions should be imperative moving forward when we're considering zoning changes. I'd like to ask the mayor and the council members, before Sunrise Village is put on an agenda again for a public hearing, the public is requesting a study session. We would like to understand AB 2011 and the different housing laws that are going to impact us a little bit more. When we've asked our commissioners and even elected officials and even, city attorney more specifics about these laws, there's still a lot of ambiguity and unknowns. So we feel that a study session should be in order so that we understand what's at stake, what the risks are before a next public hearing regarding this property. We would like you to consider this request and not rush it. We've always had a spirit of collaboration, and so we don't want to be in a position where we feel this is rushed and our questions aren't being answered. So if you would please consider a study session and get some experts together to address some questions about what happens July 1st, 2023, when AB 2011 goes into effect and some of the SBs. So I think nobody here is the expert because this is all so new. So we ask that you listen to the community and allow us that opportunity for a study session. And not just for this property, but for others that will be considered down the line. I think it'll really sit well with the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next comment, please.
Next speaker is Teresa Lim, followed by Eddie Carmona.
Hi, I'm also addressing the Pines development. Last week at the Planning Commission meeting, James Smiley presented a slide, and on that slide it said, it was recently discovered, quote, that uses at Imperial Spa have caused the contamination of soil and is now being analyzed by DTSC. So that's very concerning, obviously. But after I went up back to the Department of Toxic Substance and Control website, and I found the application that Shopoff initiated because they obviously have to pay a fee to start. And the toxic in the report actually says it comes from the dry cleaners and not the Imperial Spa. And they have already dug samples around the dry cleaners, but they haven't gone inside yet. So there's obviously a long process to detoxify that place, I guess. And I just wanted also to request a study session on what it takes to clean up that site, because that site has been there since 1980, that dry cleaner. And before that, it was agriculture with a lot of pesticides. So obviously we need to understand, what's at stake. Especially 50 feet away, there's a preschool. And that site is not owned by Shopoff. And obviously senior homes behind the place is also less than about 50 feet. So they probably need to be involved in asking questions on what's involved. It's different than Hughes. Hughes was like, one big localized area, but this is next to people that are living day to day. And we need to understand that, especially those preschool little children. So I also request that you delay putting this on the agenda until we understand what it takes. And I do have a contact at the DTSC, and he's been very responsive, and I'm sure he would love to talk to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.